You know, it was overwhelming to me. Now this goes a long time back, but Steve McQueen, when he did The Great Escape, I thought that was a real gutsy thing for a good-looking guy like that to take that old bike and leap it over that fence. I think that he did a hell of a job. What do you know? You tell me.
That was Bud.
It was Bud.
That. No, I understand. No, wait, I understand that was Bud. But now a couple of times, did Steve try to do that on his own? Never. Bud did the whole thing. Buddy can lay down a bike like I've never seen anybody in my life. Isn't that right? How long?
You know, and Gary, you tell me if I'm right, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. You probably all know the same story. That the German stuntmen chasing McQueen in Nazi uniforms, they weren't doing a very good job. And Bud and Steve McQueen got kind of frustrated by them and finally put on Nazi uniforms themselves. So when you see Nazis chasing Steve McQueen, that's Bud and Steve chasing Steve McQueen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Here.
One time I was working on ships, and we were out at Indian Dunes, and there was an airstrip there. And we were doing all kinds of riding, having a great time. And it was time for lunch, and we all sit down, and here comes this yellow biplane flying around. And it lands on the airstrip, and out walks Steve McQueen. And, you know, I watched on any Sunday probably 15 times when I was a kid. And, you know, Steve did other movies too, but with me, that was like number one. He came and sat down with Bud and all the stunt guys and had lunch with us, and I couldn't eat that day.
Gary, you got to tell us your story about McQueen. Not too long ago, when you were what were you, directing or second unit directing?
I wasn't directing, I was stunt coordinating a small, really low-budget film. And Steve called me one night and said he was bored to death. He says, "You got anything going?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm doing a little motorcycle sequence tomorrow. You want to come and play?" He went, "I'd love that." So I had to call one of my friends that already lined up the 5 guys I needed for the next day and tell one of them they couldn't work because Steve McQueen was taking their job. And I put him on contract at that time, the minimum wage contract. So we all sign minimum wage contracts and we get an adjustment if we do stunts. And so I put him on contract for $214 for the day. and he got a $200 adjustment for doing a bike lay down for me. He rode Roger DeCoster's bike and came and played all day with us. And he was a terrific man.
I think he told me that he dropped the bike in front of you and you jumped over him?
Yeah, and then I had to jump over him.
But he also did an unintentional loop, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he like everybody else, you get frustrated when you're a stunt guy. You really kind of want to go out and just blow the cobwebs out and have a good time for a while, but we're told we have to do this and do that and follow this person and go slow and you can't pass them. It's hard to put stunt guys in a race situation and ask them to hold back. It's really hard if you're doing, like, let's say a big flat track scene and you bring in real flat trackers and try and tell them to ride everything one gear lower so that the hero can come through everybody. So he was getting frustrated like everybody else, and in between shots he tried to ride a wheelie down the hill and he looped the bike over on himself and freaked the movie company out. They wouldn't even care if it was me that got hurt or somebody else, but they were so afraid that Steve might have gotten hurt, you know. Yeah, he was a terrific guy. You know, long before Debbie got in the business, because I was a little bit smaller and stuff then, and because I could do things on bikes that at that time guys weren't doing so much, I got to double a lot of girls. So I was always in dresses and and makeup and hair.
Not in his private life.
Well, maybe, but and then I was so thankful when we got Debbie in the business, because all of a sudden there was a real girl that could ride motorcycles and really ride them well. And she and I did a pilot together with Jane Kennedy, and I don't remember the actress you were doubling, but I was doubling Jane Kennedy. So not only am I in trouble by all the girls in the picture business because I'm being a girl, but I'm being a black girl. So we have the NAACP mad at us, we have girls mad at us, but there weren't any other girls. So Debbie doubled the blonde girl and I doubled the tall black girl.
And we went to lunch, and Gary comes up, and he's got this dress and high heels on, and he walks over the back of the chair, and he goes like this, and sits down, and his dress is caught on the back of his chair. That was a great moment.
I am told that Totally, we should.